Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's Gabriel to another Fan TV, man. Back at you another video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and all the videos, and let's get into it, all right? So, I saw yesterday with this, the Ravens getting an F- on this NFLPA report card, but I had already put the combine video, so I said I'll just talk about it today, all right? Then I watched some videos yesterday. I saw Engraven mention it, and shout out to Engraven, man. When I first started this channel, before I even started this channel, I reached out to him on Twitter, and he responded to me like that, giving me advice and everything like that. So, YouTube demonetizing this channel for at least a month or so, that's messed up. So hopefully that's resolved for him, and praying for you, man. So, but I saw him talking about it, and this is interesting. The Ravens get an F- in terms of strength coaches. All right. First of all, that's embarrassing. it's really embarrassing. I've never really seen an F- before. So like you failed, but then they just wanted to let you know that you was so bad. Let's just throw the minus on top of it. Honestly, I wouldn't even want to see an F+. It's truly a terrible grade. You know what I mean? I never really seen any grades like that. So for the Ravens to get that F-, one, it's embarrassing. Two, let's talk about it in comparison to the other teams in the league. Most of the other teams had A's and B's. The only other team that was even close to the Ravens were the Atlanta Falcons, and they had a D-. So they passed. They got like a 61, right? they barely passed. They barely held on, right? So for the Ravens to be that far down low, to be an organization that says that they do things the right way, doesn't make sense. It's not right, okay? Steve Saunders was fired this, a couple weeks ago now, or a week ago, whatever it was. But this didn't happen overnight. Right? This has obviously been an issue that's been here for multiple years, that's been allowed to brew, and you got to put it together. The Ravens were one of the most injured teams in the NFL, and they get a report like this and they have an F- in strength coaching. You got to put that together. Derek Wolfe has complained about it. Matthew Judon has complained about it. Matthew Judon saying last year had a hashtag called for Fire Steve, talking about Steve Sanders. All right. And then today, this morning, I look on Twitter and I see Carl Davis, former nose tackle for the Ravens, big guy down in the middle, right? He said that because of the strength program, he had 2 torn labrums and multiple pec strains because of the strength and conditioning program. So that confirms that whatever program Steve Saunders was putting these guys through was getting them injured. So the Ravens were actively employing a guy whose staff or his program, however you want to describe it, was injuring guys, was a leading cause of players going down. It's not 100% his fault. Obviously, things happen, freak injuries can happen, whatever. But overall, players didn't like him. I think he had something like a 38% approval rating on this NFL report right here. And only 36% of the people felt like he had a customized plan for them. So not only was his plan endangering them, it was generic. It wasn't even for what they needed to work on. So now you got guys working on things that they don't need, or you got guys putting too much weight on, whatever, and it's not helping, right? That's bad. A while ago, right? I think his name's like Rob Long Sports on Twitter. He had put a tweet out, describe John Harbaugh's Ravens tenure in a word, right? And for me, that word was complacent. And seeing a strength coach like this get an F- is why I say complacent. Because a lot of these moves happened 2 years too late. In 2020, I guess 3 years ago now, when Steve Saunders, it was made to be known that him walking around without a mask, not taking the COVID outbreak serious, was the leading cause of the Ravens going down with a lot of players getting COVID. One, that's insubordination. He's not following the rules because it was a mask on at all times. Two, he's a guy that he felt like he could do whatever he wanted. So now it's John Harbaugh. You have a guy who was in the building, caused a lot of your players to get to fall ill, and you let it pass for another 2 seasons, another 2 years. Then the following season, we have the most injuries, I believe, in NFL history. So when I say things like John Harbaugh is complacent, this is what I mean. You have a guy here and say, hey, look, man, he'll get it right. He'll get it going. Or another word you could use, if I could use 2 words, it'd be blind loyalty. Blind loyalty. How many times have John Harbaugh had to move off of a staffer and it felt like it's been 2 years too late? We just had it with Greg Roman. the Ravens would have got rid of Greg Roman in 2021, 2020, a lot of things could be different. Maybe Hollywood doesn't request a trade. Whole sorts of things that maybe they're different, right? But no, he's kept on, and we have to keep going through the same things over and over and over again. So when you are the head of an organization, as John Harbaugh is, he is the head coach, right? He hires the staff. He made that clear with the Todd Monken press conference. Okay, so you cannot be a kind of guy where you let everything go. You can't have enough loyalty to staffers who aren't doing their job effectively, who are actively hurting your players, and keep them on for another 2 years. When a guy, Carl Davis, says that because of this training program, I tore both my labrums and I had multiple pec strains. Not saying Carl Davis was, the most important player for the Ravens and nothing like that, but he was a guy that was in the rotation at one point, a couple years ago. So now he had his career derailed because of a poor strengthening and conditioning program. Maybe this is why Steve Saunders got let go. Because I think this is the first year the NFLPA did this report. Because to see the Ravens be so far down and laughably last. I mean, like I said, the Falcons had a D-. But every other team, if you look at this report, every other team had A's and B's. A+, A, B+. Every other team, except for the Falcons and the Ravens. So you got to make a change. But it feels like it's multiple years too late. I don't know what. I think his name is Scott Elliott. He got promoted. He's now the new strength and conditioning coach. I don't think he'll have to do much to get the players' approval. He changes a couple things. They'll probably love him. But the point being is, when you have a guy like Harbaugh in there who is content with doing certain things his way, that hurts the team. That damages the team. Now I get Ravens fans who say that as long as John Harbaugh is the head coach, that nothing will change. Honestly, I really do get that. I do. So when I see reports like this, that's what makes it even more frustrating because, John Harbaugh was on his way out the door in 2018. Then Lamar Jackson comes in and goes 6-1. Everything is different, right? He's all of a sudden again, a great NFL head coach, and he is the best head coach in Ravens history. I will give him that. But when you see stuff like this, then it makes you feel like it's time to move on. Now, obviously, nothing's going to happen right now. I mean, the coaching cycle is pretty much over. But when I saw this article, I saw this report, and it just confirmed that everything that guys like Derek Wolfe was saying. Derek Wolfe was saying that they train too hard. What they do in the offseason doesn't make sense. They're good for the first couple weeks of the season, and they fall off at the end of the year. It makes perfect sense. Your strength and conditioning program got an F-. Like, you got to try to fail that hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be actively trying to fail like that. Like, that ain't just no regular failing. That's an extra level, special level of failing. So when I saw this, and maybe, like I said, this is why I'm sure the Ravens probably had some knowledge of it. So this is probably why guy like Steve Saunders is finally let go. They couldn't have this report come out of an F- and then turn around and look people in the face and say, hey, look, we're going to keep Steve Saunders on the staff. You couldn't do that. Now, the Ravens do something that don't make sense, but that really wouldn't have made sense. So I get it from that standpoint, and all I could do hope is that John Harbaugh has woken up and will not lead by blind loyalty, will not lead by being complacent, will not lead by having guys in there just because he knows them, so we're going to keep them around no matter how good of a job they do. Because I know players complained to John Harbaugh about Steve Saunders. They had to. I mean, you feel like the strength and conditioning program is not working. You're going to go talk to your head coach about it. Now, listen, the strength and conditioning guy is probably not a lot of people's favorite person because he's putting you through a lot of workouts and, a lot of physical and strenuous activities. But an F- is egregious. That's beyond terrible. So I know multiple players came to John Harbaugh and say, hey, look, what this guy is doing is ridiculous and it's not working. And John Harbaugh let it slide. Hopefully he doesn't make that mistake again. But I'm gonna wrap this video up here, man. Let me know what you guys think about it, about this report. To me, it's embarrassing. You know, Ravens can't be like that again. Next year, they gotta be with everybody else, at least the B. They gotta be up there. So let me know what you guys think on the video, man. It's your boy Gabriel. This is the Fan TV. I'm out.